this is not so random. So today is a thrift flip with a twist, and the twist is based off the Zodiac sign Capricorn, which I'm a Capricorn. My birthday was actually on Monday. So I have my stack of fabrics right here that I'm going to use to create the image, to create the look that I'm going for. I'm posting the images right now of the thing. The skirt I'm really excited about, with the little ruffle detail. I kind of already think I know what I'm going to do. I'm hoping I have enough fabric for the top, but we'll see. I actually might have to make it shorter, I'm thinking, so we'll find out. Yeah, so let's get into seeing the befores of everything that I have. Okay, before we get started, I just want to quickly say how this fits me perfectly, and it had no tag. I just grabbed it because it was the tag that was $1 for that day. But my plan is to cut the seam here and cut an angle here to create that opening like in the skirt. I'm also thinking of shortening it, so I don't know like how short to shorten it yet. Definitely want to just cut open everything first and then figure out how short to make it. So let's get into the dress. I grabbed this again because of the white tags, but also because white tags were first. The second part was because of the skirt. It's got a lot of fabric. I can cut this up and pleat it into the section of pleats that will go with the other skirt, or the base skirt. So this dress is getting turned into pleats. Okay. So my first plan is to open up this side seam right here and only open it up to where it's parallel to this dart right here, but maybe a little lower, I'm thinking, because when I fold it, it'll hopefully go up higher. I haven't fully decided yet. I mean, if I go a little too high, I can always close it back up, but opening up this side seam and then figuring out, after I open it up, figuring out the angle. So let's open up that side seam and then see how I figure out the angle. Okay, so I have the side seam ripped now. Now to find the angle I want it to sit at. And it does have lining, as you can see. I'm gonna keep the lining as is. I'm just gonna, because the lining is only attached up here, I'm gonna fold this out to attach the pleats to this side seam, all the way over to this side seam, maybe. You know what, I still haven't figured that part out yet. But I mean, cause, yeah. I might have to, and attaching it at top stitch up here, so. Just trying to figure out the best angle. Well, I feel like I had this inside out. So I'm thinking if I go across like that, it'll give me a nice angle for the pleats. So I'm gonna safety pin this up here for now. I'm also thinking of making it shorter. So let's see if with the lining first. The lining should be a lot shorter. Oh, and then this has a pleat here, so I'm wondering, probably have to go across this way. Let me go like this for you guys. This is pleat, and I wonder if that's too short for where the pleat ends. Well, let's pin it anyways. I'll pin it later. yeah, I'll take it off and pin it and then put it back on, because I feel like I'm gonna pin it crooked because I have it on. Ta-ha! It fits. I mean, it's a little loose, but it fits. So let's see. And then we'll spin it again. So, let's see. Get it center? Yeah. Maybe? Center. Yep. Okay. So, oh, let me, let me shrink in the lining now. Is that too short? I don't think so. I think it's a decent height. I mean, because I'm gonna have the pleats here, but in the back it's fine. It's not too short. I like it. I think we're gonna go with this. So now to figure out how to flip all this inside out, cut it. We'll go to that. Me being able to just cut this up and not have any problem. I mean, this will be easy right here where this one is. And then maybe just slicing that. It's this piece. So, yeah. And I think, no, that's one more thing. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna cut, I'm gonna cut, not this of course yet, but I'm gonna cut all the straight pieces first, cut all that off, and then figure out how to pin this from the inside. Probably not in the right angle that I have it now, because of this having to fold, and I'm gonna have to reinforce right here. Yeah, so let's get started on cutting this. Okay, so off camera, I made sure to measure, and everything's 6 inches all the way around, so I'm not with an uneven hem. But going through this, I do think this was handmade because of the whip stitches here. I've never seen a garment sewn by factories that are whip stitched, and it's fraying along the slit area, like they didn't serge it like they did on the sides, and the lining was never attached to the skirt. I mean, that's just what I'm thinking. I mean, if it's not, it's okay. Like, I'm not judging. If I feel bad now, kind of like taking this apart, but at the same time too, I want a really cute pleated, non-pleated skirt. I don't even know what that's called. So I'm gonna cut this. I need my scissors. Where are my scissors? So now we have, push, I keep the, then we have this all cut, not super even, but it's even enough. Like, I'm not saying I half-ass everything, so I'm just saying that be a little lazy. Okay, so let's figure out this section. It'll lay. It will not lay. Hold on, you know what? Give me a second. Why is this so difficult? Okay. Okay. So I went across like that. So I'm wondering if I can do that on the inside. Let's see how. That's funny. Only because, you know, how I cut it. Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna have this towards me because it'll make it easier. Yes, someone made it. Look, there's stabilizing. Someone had made this and donated it. It's kind of sad. I'm not saying that I'm not gonna do that at some point. I probably will, but you know, you put a lot of hard work and time into something and then you go to donate it. Let's see. I want to flip this. I'm gonna flip this inside out. It'll make it easier for me. Okay. So I have our angled piece. It'd be great. Just. Okay. So because I cut it down here already, I can actually just line this up. Score. Sort of, maybe. I'm gonna go a little wider on this one to for seam allowance. Woo! That was nerve-wracking. Okay. And then because I still have this little bit, I can line that up. Okay. So I'm going to, before I got cut off, I'm gonna double roll this hem, and yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hem everything, and then once I hem everything, I'm gonna sew it. And I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm not gonna show me sewing this. I just, you know, I feel like it takes a lot of time. Okay, so this is all hemmed. So now all I have to do is take the dress and seam rip it, and after I seam rip it, we'll figure out the pleats to yick. I'm not sure how, I'm wondering if I don't have to hem it, keep the hem, and then just cut where I need it, and then have it be in there. Oh, I forgot I had a pin there and I stabbed myself. Yeah. So it'll be like that. And pleated. Okay, so I'm gonna go seam rip this, and we'll be back for pleating. Okay, so I'm flipping my phone. Okay, so I have it's inside out. Okay, so here is the skirt removed from the top of the bodice from the dress. I'm going to quickly measure this. If I can get this off. I'm gonna measure from the top of the waistband to the bottom of the skirt. So 18 and a half inches. Yeah, 18 and a half inches. So I'm gonna go up to 18 because I'm going to line the I can't remember how to say this right. I'm going to, on the inside, match up the skirt, the pleated part to this. I'm still debating on pleat size, so give me a second. So first I'll be 18 inches. I'm going to go from the bottom of the skirt where the hem is, measure up 18 inches and cut from there. But I'm also debating on pleat size because I don't know. Also, I've never done fork pleats before, so this is kind of okay. I'm kind of liking the smaller ones over the bigger ones. What I'm probably going to do is take a picture, send it to Martha, ask her what she thinks looks better, because she's more fashionable than I am. In my opinion, she's more fashionable than I am. I mean, anything she wears looks amazing, so I'm going to do that, and then when I find out what size she likes, I'll cut the, we'll go into cutting the fabric to be the 18 inches and pleat this like crazy. And you know, if I have a little extra, it's fine because I can cut it off because I'm going to sew it on the inside here and the inside here. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. So, let's see. So I finished pleating. The only thing is that I don't have enough to pleat the whole thing and have it fit here, but then I didn't do the math, so that's on me. Super cold in here. I'm gonna steam iron this and get these pleats to hopefully lie flat. I'm also planning on, after stitching this down, stitching as much as I can until I get for it to be covered enough to covered enough by the base skirt to keep the pleats hopefully in check. But you know, if I need to, I'll probably do like a tiny tack underneath. Who knows? I'll figure that out. Ow. Pins. So I'm gonna steam iron this. Okay, so that feels so good. So my plan now is to take this to the sewing machine, sew along the top edge up here, probably twice just to be on the safe side, and then after I finish, after I finish sewing this, taking the skirt and measuring down to stitch these into place, so they hopefully stay pleated, and then after I do that, take out these pins, iron these pins really good, and hope that this works. So didn't realize how much. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, that got undone. Wonder if anybody else gets these problems. There we go. Okay, so when you come back, this will be all. When we come back, this will be all stitched, and we'll iron the bottom. Okay, so I sewed that down. Yes, I used red thread, but black and red always looks pretty together, and I figured if it little thread showed, it wasn't, you know, gonna be a big deal. So I'm gonna start taking out these pins and start ironing it down a little bit more. Yeah. So yeah, let's get into that then. Okay, so I finished ironing it. I think it's talking to me. I think what I'll do next is sew it into the skirt. I am planning on doing like something down here. Oh, you can see it, but you probably can't. Something down here where it's not pleated. Figuring out something, but I need to get it sewn in first before I can do that. Just want to make sure that it can get in there. Yeah, so I'm gonna go grab that and we can pin this in. Okay, this is not exactly what I wanted. Let's see, here. Okay, let's see. I wanted the pleats a little shorter. I didn't want them so long. So I'm wondering if I can get that. Yeah, let me put it on. I'll make it easier. Okay. So I wanted, as you can see, the pleats, I feel like the pleats are too long. Pleats need to be, do this, taken up just a little bit, I feel like. Especially on this side. So I'm wondering if I can fix that, take it up a bit. But I mean, I like it. It's not terrible. I mean, that's gonna look nice right there. It'll be hidden under here. To shorten it, and I'll actually sew it in. So next time you see it, will be with the full outfit. Next is I'm gonna start working on the turtleneck of this outfit. For this one, I'm wearing it kind of like a dress. One, because of how long it is. Let's go like this first. Okay. And we'll go with this. Okay. So I'm wearing it like this real quick because when I talk about it, I wanted to say like it's super long. I really am hoping that I have enough fabric. I'm hoping that the one front side will make the front and the back. Cross my fingers. To make the top. One quick thing I want to say is that I'm basing this off of a color Capricorn, not color Capricorn. I'm basing this off of a Zodiac color thing, on the screen. So it's supposed to be like gray, like a dark gray, and yes, I know my skirts is not going to be black, but I was kind of hoping to just be like, hey, I'm basing it off the actual thing, and the striped top for this is based off the color. And just, I like blacks and I like blues, so that's gonna be the colors I tend to go for the most. So yeah, let's I'm gonna get started on the skirt. So let's get started to that. Hey, before I get started on the fabric to seam rip and turn it into a turtleneck, here's the mock-up I made. I got it off 1, 2, 3. The only thing is that it's got drop shoulders, and I really don't like how far it is. So on the pattern piece, I'm going to cut it up a little higher because, you know, I really, I don't know, I think it's fine for this, but for the actual fabric, I don't like the idea of having it here. Let me show you how short it'll be. It'll be kind of cropped. Yeah. So, yep. So I'm gonna seam rip this, and then we'll get to putting, you know, the pattern pieces on. Cross my fingers if that's. Woo. Okay. So here's the pattern that I'm using for the turtleneck. Says it right there. I'm gonna have this pattern linked down below. It's not my pattern, it's this person's pattern. What I did though is I took from the shoulder, it was longer. You can kind of see my pencil mark there. Because I didn't like the drop shoulder like I said before, so I made it shorter. I also took it in a bit on the sides. I didn't like how flowy it was. Yeah, so I'm going to now pin this to the fabric, hoping I have enough fabric for this. So let's find out.
So I was worried about this, but I wasn't gonna have enough for the long sleeve. So I'm not sure if I should try and piece it, and God, I don't know. I don't know if I should try and piece it and try and get it to work that way. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, because if I piece it, I'd have a line on the top and the bottom. I don't know how that'd look. Let's see. I can get this. Ugh. I wouldn't be able to do the little flare thing. I'd have to go straight, which doesn't bother me. Crap. Yeah. So I'm wondering if I should do piecing. I mean, it'd be different, be unique, because, you know, no one else would have it. So, and I have to do this first, because let me talk about what I want to do. So my plan is to shoulder seam. I don't do shoulder. Okay. I know what I'm gonna do. Shoulder seams, neck piece, then arms. So we're gonna get into where I have the shoulders already done and the neck being pinned on. Ah, I'm being attacked. Okay, so I ironed the seam allowance to the back of the shoulder, and I ironed the neck piece off to the side, and it is, I had the back facing up and the back of this facing. So what we do is we pull this to line up, and I'm going to quickly do some far away pins, because we are going to pin this to the back, to the neck hole, lining up all the notches as well. Okay, now for this part you can pick if you want it to be this side or this side. Because then you can also, when you wear it, you can kind of fold this over too. I don't know if I like that. I think like that one, and then have it darker. So I'm going to pin it this way, right sides together, and you match the shoulder seams from the pattern to the shoulder seams of the top. And this is why I made sure to keep the back facing up, to make sure that, you know, the two backs are going to touch, so we don't get that line going down the front of the shirt, because that would be kind of funny. Okay, so now I'm going to do is also the seam allowance. For this, it's going to be a smaller seam allowance in the shoulders. I don't think I'm going to make it 5/8, so I'm going to make it a bit smaller. Start at the back, work my way around. Yeah. So. And then we'll see how the piece sleeves went. Okay, so for the neck I stitched it with a stretcher. Well, the same stitch that I used here. It's supposed to be like an overlocking stitch, I think. I used it in the neck because it gives it a nice stretch still without being, essentially I didn't want to use a straight stitch. I didn't want any seams to pop, so. Oh, I forgot to cut those. So next we will see how the sleeves turned out with the piecing. So, I'm not mad at it per se. Like, I'm not like, oh, this is terrible. I actually kind of like digging it, surprisingly. I don't mind the idea of having a seam run down my arm. So I just ironed the seam allowance. I'm gonna flip this over. Try and get it as flat as possible. I've got a little bit of that hanging out. Ooh, just burned myself. Burn myself. No. Oh. Hot iron. Right now. Ooh. I'm getting the line. Oh well. Burn yourself more than once. Okay. So my plan is to line up this seam like that. It'll work. It'll work. I'll make it work. It's stretchy. So I'm lining up that seam, which is perfect because there is a shoulder seam there, notch, that I don't have to worry about now because I just have to line up this seam pins. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to pin up here, pin down here, keep those and then pin around. Okay, so I'm going to do this to the other sleeve after I put an ice cube on my burn mark. So I'll be back in a bit. Ooh, okay, let's pull this out. Lay this flat. Okay. 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 Lining up the sleeves. Because I am using the size 2 sleeve, which is bigger on this size one pattern, but I took on the shoulder, the armhole is now too big for the sleeve. My plan, start in the center where the shoulder is, stretch this out at the, I'm going to do a straight stitch here, stretch this out to get, you know, that and this to fit in the armhole that is now too big for it. Thank goodness this is stretchy fabric. I'm going to do that to both sleeves, and then we will go to pinning. Once these are sewn, we'll go to pinning the side seams and the sleeves closed, and then all we have to do after that is hem everything. We're getting so much closer to the end of this. I'm so excited. I can't wait to have this done so you can see it. I'm excited. It doesn't sound like I am, but you know, I don't know how to be more excitable. So, okay, so I pattern matched the sides. It doesn't match exactly under here, especially where the seam is, so a little stretching. Will happen. The arms line up perfectly. I still need to do this side. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the shoulders and the neck, straight stitch and then finish it off, because I did not do that here. I'm debating on if I should or not. I'm lazy. Okay, all we need is hemming for the sleeves and the bottom of the shirt, and let's get into that reveal.